Hey, John Kavakis here with another very special edition of My Take. Today we get to do something that I've been waiting a long time to do, and that is take you on a tour of the brand new Brooklin factory. Now, Simon has carved out a little bit of time as they prepare to take a break for the holidays to show us around, show us the process. We get to meet some of the people, see some of the new projects. There's a few bumps and bruises here because of connectivity issues, but I think you're going to really enjoy this. I know I did. So let's take a look at what the factory looks like and spend a little bit of time with Simon. Hi, Simon. Look, we appreciate your time. I know you're busy. We're coming up on the holidays, but there are a lot of folks that are really curious as to what the factory looks like and how it works. So show us what you got.
Thank you, Johnny. I think it's my pleasure to show everyone around. It's more or less sorted now. We've had a few weeks of absolute mess and chaos, but we're finally getting on top of it, and we are actually starting to produce again now. So I'll show you around. Let me just turn the camera around so you can see what's going on. There we go. Okay, so this is the estate we're on, and we've got the building here right in the middle. There we go. Unit number 2. So we'll just walk inside. It's on a fairly big industrial estate. There's about probably another 100 or so units on here. So they're all fairly new units, which is lovely for us. We've come from a building which is nearly 40 years old into almost a brand new unit, and it's lovely. And here we go, right into the entrance hall. We've got a little cabinet here with. We rescued one of the cabinets from the old unit, and we managed to keep some of that. We've got some of our cars, some of the latest projects in there, some of the more unusual things on display for people to see when they come in. We've also got a start of our Christmas trees and Christmas decorations up. We've allowed a few of those. Basically the unit's split into two areas. So we've got a downstairs area here, which is casting and paint spraying, storage, and then upstairs we've got a small half area, which is where we're going to do the assembly and pattern making. It's a clean area. So shall I just take you through downstairs first, John? I'm going to have a look through there.
Great.
Let's have a look. Hold on. Here's Darren. Hi, Darren.
Hi, John. How are you?
This is just we're just doing a quick video of the tour. This is the safe, the big fire safe with all the patterns in. So Darren's just having a quick look through that now. I'm not sure what you're looking for.
I can't find it, but no worries.
That's fair enough. We've got everything's organised and we can't find it, so that's the trouble. So basically down the centre of this building, we've got all this shelving down the centre, which is all storage for packaging, parcels, all those kind of bits and pieces. And then we've got a small area here for like a packing table, and we can do photography and bits here. It's on the scale compared to the other place is so much smaller. This is the start of the racking for the moulds. And then here we've got a little area which is the canteen area for the people, and we've also got just along here we've got all the cupboards with the stock in. It goes right round. That holds all our stock. And this also has to double as an office for myself and Martin to work from, because we are spaces at a premium here, so we're using every single bit of space we can find. So that's where we go. Everywhere, all around the walls downstairs, up high, there's shelving everywhere because we're just trying to extract as much use as we can from all the available space.
Hey, Simon, can we take another look at those molds? Because it looks like you have a lot of them there. How far back do they go?
Not very far. So when we moved, when we in the old place, we had a separate storage unit, which was probably about 1,000 square foot, and that was just full of molds, top to bottom. And basically, we just couldn't keep all of them. So we have thrown a lot of molds away. We've still got all the patterns. Still got all the masters, so we can, if we want to release a car, we've got all the bits to do that. And in fact, a lot of the time we'd make new molds anyway, just because they were being upgraded or they just weren't working anymore. But so we've kept stuff going certainly from the last 2 or 3 years, and we've also kept molds from cars that we know we want to do again or we know are popular.
Okay,
but we probably have. Sorry, John.
So these molds would represent every bit and part on the cars that you plan on producing.
Yes. So these, and they're not necessarily, we're going to necessarily use them straight off. A lot of them are still okay and we'll use them. Other times they're useful for reference and for layouts. But if we know we're going to do a car that's upcoming, or we know we've got more cars to do, then obviously we've kept all the molds to run it again.
Great.
And I'll show you more molds in a minute. There's a whole row of molds, and so the molds we've kept are probably about 10% of what we did have. So we're probably down to 600-700 molds, and that's a small amount of what we did have. So here we have the spray booth. I think Rich has just finished spraying. Hi, Rich. Hi, John. We're just having a quick walk around the factory.
Hi, John.
So yeah, no, we've got it all set up in here. It's pretty good actually. We've got 2 spray booths. So this is where Rich is spraying right now, and this is we're spraying a second coat now on some of these BCC cars for this year, the police car. And we've got 2 booths this kind of size, set down either side. And then in the middle, we've got a cleaning area for the guns. So we've got a special machine to clean them and all the guns. And then we've got another spray booth on the other side here. And then we've also got obviously all the paint mixing schemes down the back of the wall. So Rich tends to spray on that side because here we've got a window and he doesn't like being watched, I don't think, whilst he's being sprayed.
So you've got quite a bit of there and a large variety of guns and colors. Do you mix your colors according to factory specs or? Yeah,
we do. Yeah. So this is not at the moment. This is the computer mixing scheme. So obviously on this rack here, these are just all tinters, and we combine all these to make the colours. And this is Nexa watercolor. It's an automotive paint. It's what you put on your real car. It's an old-fashioned 2K mix. So we can mix a lot of the old colours, and we have got mixes for a lot of the old American cars. And in fact, the Ford Mustangs that we're making for Mo, we found the original colour mixes, and we can mix them. So when we do his Mustang in the lime gold, it will be the actual colour. Which is really, and if we can't get the actual colours, and mixes aren't available, we carry a lot of old paint chips. I don't know where we put them, but we carry a lot of old paint chips that we can use to colour match, and they give you that kind of, because the trouble with the modern colours is they're very vibrant and they don't often look like the old-fashioned car colours. So it's quite important to us that we try and get there as much as possible. I must apologise for the noise. That's the compressor coming on.
It's okay.
So. If I move out of there, I'll get a bit quieter. Thanks, Rich.
Now, Simon, I hear that you know a little bit about laying down paint yourself. Is that true?
Yeah, no, I did. That's what I did at SMTS. Really, I was a model maker, but I did a lot of spraying as well. And really, the last probably 10 years, I was at SMTS. My job really was to do Route 66 model cars. So I sprayed them and built them. So almost all the Route 66 range was built by me. I'm not sure if that's good or bad.
That's been some incredible work.
So here we got more molds. So I said so all the way down here is what we've got left of the molds. And I say, it looks like quite a few, but it's just a small percentage of what we did keep. And it goes right down to here. And then on the other side, we've got a bit of storage again. We're keeping a couple of old machines just in case for spares. We've got an area here, which is for pattern making. So we've got a little mini lathe in here and belt sanders. We've got all the pillar drills here for drilling the molds in the cars. And then in the next station, we got Neil. Hi, Neil. Neil's just doing some work there. This is Neil makes all the molds. So in here, we've got all the machines to be pressing the molds for the cars. So that's all around here, and that's what Neil's doing right now.
Simon,
and he's comparing.
Could you
comparing a mold?
Could you take and tell us the difference between a mold and a pattern?
Okay, so the pattern. This here is the pattern. So this is the brass master, and this is what we'll work from. And then Neil will take this and encase it in rubber, like here. This still hasn't been cooked yet, and then he'll encase it in the rubber, and then we'll put it into one of these presses here, which gets really hot, and under a lot of pressure, we'll turn it into a mold. So that's and then Neil's to that, there is the Cadillac 355B, which we're just moulding now. And we've got some of the Mustangs in paint. We've I think we've got a bit of an issue with some holes again, and we're just filling up a few of the Mustangs to make sure they're perfect. Which is what Neil's finishing off here. Because everybody, who's left, we don't just do a job. Nobody just does one job. We got our main areas, and then we all chip in to help each other and make sure we get the jobs done. And this here is the start of the casting stations. So we've got two here. Got one here really for doing pewter, and then we've got other moulds as well. So all the parts to be done here. And then over here, this is where Andy works. They're not here today, but Andy, this is where he works. He does all the bodies. So all the body moulds that are done on this big machine here. And he's got a parts mould machine here as well. And you've got bits and pieces. All the body moulds are here. So all the stuff he's just moulded, all waiting to go. I'm sure we've got it. We've got some more of the Rivieras that are just coming through. We've got lots of bits and pieces like that. That's pretty much it downstairs. And it's pretty noisy down here. We haven't got the extraction on today for the machines, but it gets pretty noisy. Yeah. So it's quite good that you're here now. Otherwise, we wouldn't be able to hear each other. So if I take you upstairs, then have a quick look upstairs.
Yeah,
that's much better when the compressor goes off. So we go upstairs. So we've decorated a little area here, and we've got a couple of the old pictures from the old units. So the top picture there is the unit we've just left in Bath, and we moved into that in '83, I think it was. And then the picture below is the unit we were in before that one, which was just up the road in Bath, actually. So this is all the units from England. And okay, so we've come up here, and this kind of area here, we got built cars ready to be base mounted, and then we hold a little bit of stock around. This is the VAT4 machine for making all the windows, and in this little cubby hole, we kind of surrounded him. Here's Darren. Hi, Darren.
Hi, John. Hi.
So he's doing all the pattern making here. These drawers you see around here, that's all the patterns that we hold. So the safe downstairs holds the bodies, but all the parts are kept in these drawers up here, all down. So this is pretty much everything we do, isn't it?
Yeah.
Over the years.
Yeah.
It's all here in one.
Bar to see the Volvos.
Yeah.
Which are in a separate box put away. So there will be quite a lot more than this, really.
But it's most of it.
Yeah.
All the stuff we need. And Darren's working. This is the Caribbean. So just let me show you that one. So Darren's pretty much, how far off are you down now finishing this?
I'm just working on the body now, so I've finished kind of the back end wheel mount. Just got to fill some holes, make sure the body's nice and sort of polished and smooth, so that when it's cast, there's the least amount of work needs to be done on
the
it.
Front as well. Let's have a look. So that'll start to be moulded when we come back next year. Early next year, we'll start getting that. Look at moulding that and getting that ready for production. That's been a fair amount of work. I think we discussed this amongst ourselves, and I discussed it with you, John, as well. That we have used the Packard Patrician as a base, but this model is pretty much, apart from probably the front end and the sides, it's pretty much a brand new model, isn't it? Really, the whole back end is pretty much new.
Yeah, so that is a new casting, but the original Patrician was modified. I modified the wings, the front, and the back end, and then we had the new casting made. So and apart from say the front bumper and the grille, which we can use from the Patrician on there, although I will go over those and modify them slightly, make it a little bit better.
So it's going to be pretty much. I mean, it's not 100% a brand new pattern, but I say there's a huge amount of work that's gone into this to make it into the Caribbean. It's quite often the way we look at cars and think, oh yeah, we could do that. That's easy enough to do, and then when we start looking at it, it ends up being twice the job it was when we started. So, but that's,
Darren, we exchanged a few pictures early on, and I've told you before, I've got tremendous respect for your work. I think you do some really top-notch work, and as far as I'm concerned, you're responsible for the accuracy that we've seen come out of Brooklyn for the last 10, 15 years or so. But what I really appreciate is your attention to detail, that you wanted to get the model right. And, that kind of gets us excited as collectors, to know that the guy that's forming the pattern has a passion for accuracy. And I appreciate the time you put into this. It looks like it's going to be a fantastic model.
It is. It's going to look
nice. Yeah.
It's going to look really amazing. I mean, the wire wheels as well. I've been working on a new way of doing the wire wheels, and they're going to look. I'll just show us a close up of the prototype of the wire wheel.
Wow.
Focusing or not. There we go. And they're going to look really nice, really fine, and they're going to look really good actually. So we're looking forward to that, and we're excited to see that come out and work.
Amazing.
Excellent. So that's kind of Darren's area. So he's getting on with that. And then the kind of the final piece really is through here. We've got another little room upstairs, right at the back, and this is where the assembly takes place. This is Martin's desk when he's building. He's just sorting out the last of the Maserati boats there. This is where Julie works. Unfortunately, Julie's unwell today, so she's not here with us. But this is usually where she works from. And I think she just finished the job. She's just finished off doing these, which is the new MB Centre DeSoto, 1942 DeSoto. So she's just finished those. So just need to go in a box, all based. And then this is where Steve works. And Steve's just doing some work actually on the 46 Pontiac Torpedo. So we've made another batch of those, and we're just waiting for the plating to finish those off, and then they'll be done. And that's pretty much it, really. That's the whole area. So it's a lot smaller than the place before, but it seems to be working really well. Now we've actually got in and got some sense to everything. It seems to be working much better. And you can see, we can look for the window here from upstairs. You can see kind of how tight we are in here, but it's all working out very nicely.
So it looks like your offices up there have an overview, but last time I spoke with you, you said it was pretty warm up there. Do you have air conditioning?
No, we don't. No, and it's we got up in the roof there. We have a ventilation vent, this electric fan vent which comes from here. No, it's winter here, obviously, right now, and we've had it pretty cold. But this is the warmest place to be, certainly.
And it's winter. I'm still in a t-shirt. I feel
comfortable. Yeah, so we're dreading summer. I think when the summer comes, it could be really hot up here. We'll have to look at how hot it gets and what we do come the summer. Yeah. But actually, overall, it's a warm building. It's a brand new building. It's very well insulated. So even downstairs, it's pretty warm, even when it's been really cold. So we're really pleased with that. And that was it, really. Just a quick view of what's going on. We've got plenty planned for next year. So what we're planning to do next year is we've got a few jobs to do for the MB Centre, and we've got a chance to kind of revitalise the Brooklyn models range as well. We've got a full year. Now, this year's been very disrupted with the move. It's taken us probably a bit longer than we thought, just because of delays with the building as well. But we've got a full run next year, and we want to start updating our Brooklyn models range, and we're going to start moving more into the 60s and 70s. And we've got a few exciting new releases planned for next year, but we'll come on to those later on into next year.
I'm looking forward to that. Now, I know you just did the Studebaker Dictator and the DeSoto again. Those models are a little bit different, though, aren't they?
Yeah, no. So they're like they're like the MB Centre ranges. We've done them as BMLs, and so we're basically done them as updated versions. So the DeSoto has got a lot more chrome work on it. It's got a lot more interior detail, so it's a lot finer model. And the 37 Studebaker wasn't quite so much we could do on that. We've done a bit more detail on the outside and on the inside, but we've got the colour correct. We've had a colour chip sent from the MB Centre, so we've got the colour 100%, which is slightly different to the BML car. And we've also upgraded the detail around the grille and the headlights.
Yeah, I've seen the Studebaker in person, and there's not a lot of bright trim on it.
No, exactly. No, they're quite obviously compared to some of the later cars, they're quite basic in that kind of regard. But they just that extra detail on because the interiors traditionally have been quite simple. And I think, as you've seen, especially with the Ventura, we're starting to really go into the interiors and make them a lot more lot more detail to them. And I think you'll see that, especially in the Caribbean being an open top, you'll see that extra detail coming up.
Just one or two quick questions, in particular about the NB Center models. Now, if for those folks that were at the NB Center last year, they got a chance to see the cars physically, but the folks that have not seen the cars in person have questions about things like white wall tires and special trim and everything. Now, do you model the NB Center models after the car in the center or the production car?
No, so certainly. So there'll be models that will be sold in the NB Centres as a museum. So we're modelling the cars that are actually there. So a lot of the cars have got some modifications. I know a lot of people said about the Rivieras not having white walls, but the cars at the NB Centre don't have white walls, so that's why they came with black tyres. They are exact copies of those cars. I know on the Buick Wildcat that we did, there's a bit of trim on the rear, which people were saying, well, that doesn't appear in the production car, but Mr. Mulberry's car at the NB Centre does have that, so if it's on there, it's going to get done.
So what we have is accurate reproductions of actual cars that are in the NB Center collection.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, and the cars that were stored by the NB Centre are done to a really, really high standard. So if they restore something from scratch, it's pretty much like it left the factory, but in much better condition. Some of the cars that he has haven't hardly been restored at all. He's managed to pick up a lot of old cars that haven't been restored in their entire lifetimes, and I think you saw that last year, John, especially with the Nash Suburban and the Chrysler Town and Country. They're kind of either older restorations or they're original pieces, and so that paintwork's a little bit faded. They've got a little bit of use, and sometimes they've had a few modifications to them. But rather than restore them totally because they've been in such lovely condition, they've just been recommissioned, as it were, really. And so sometimes they're not actually restored cars; they're original cars that have just lived a life. Yeah,
I think we call them survivors over here.
Yeah, no, and it's lovely that they're still used. Almost daily, they're still taken out and used. Although there's probably some 200 or 250 cars there, they're all ready to go and they're all used regularly.
Amazing. I know that Cadillac V16 that you built the engine from was a survivor, and it's in magnificent shape.
It is. You can tell. Yes, it's got those little bits of patina all over it, which just bring it alive. And in fact, when you look at the video on the website, which has got the recording of the V16 engine over the top of it, that's the actual V16 engine running at the NB Centre.
Yeah. Well, Simon, I really appreciate your time. I know you're busy coming up on the holidays. I've been to the old factory. I haven't physically been to the new factory, but now I feel like I have been. And it is a much smaller space, but you seem to have maximized the efficiency of your space because you went high. And you got everything in there, all the important stuff, without a lot of the fluff.
It was going through the old place. We did come across some old gems and kept digging out of corners and some wonderful old pictures. But there was also a lot of stuff we were just holding on to because we had the space to hold on to it. It wasn't really required. So it was quite a sad time as well, I think, for a lot of the staff there who've been there a long time. But it was also nice to start fresh from here as well, with all new equipment, all new building. It's just we're ready to go now.
Well, I'm excited for you, and it looks like the new business plan seems to be effective. The models you're producing, that 46 Pontiac is just spectacular.
Yeah, no, Darren's really pulled it out of the hat with that one. That those window surrounds really, really hard to do in white metal to get that to work. When you've got white metal, which tends to grow a little bit when you mold it, it's a real skill to actually cast that, and then to actually get a plated piece to work after that and fit so nicely. Quite incredible, and it looks much better for it, doesn't it?
Yeah, that's a bit of a new technology for 143rd, and it came out really, really well.
Yeah, no, we've got a few little tricks up our sleeve for next year as well. Keep an eye out for there's a couple of things we're going to do that are a little bit unusual, we've never done before. We are pushing Darren as hard as we can, and he's loving it as well. So hopefully you'll see some interesting bits next year. Well,
Simon, I appreciate your time. Merry Christmas to everybody over there. We're looking forward to what you have for 2023.
No, thank you very much. Happy Christmas to everybody, and hopefully see you in the new year.
Thanks, Simon. Have a good one.
Thanks, John. Thank you.